Hello and welcome to the Disneylanders Podcast. I'm Clark Johnson, and I will be the host for this episode, which is the first episode of the Disneylanders Podcast. So welcome. I'm joined with my good friend Lelouch. We're going to share some stories, talk about, how he was a pianist in the Grand Californian, how he's just an all-around awesome dude, and all that jazz. So let's get right into it. So what's the story behind why you wanted to work at Disney?
Yeah, so during my freshman year of college, I submitted an application. I don't think too much. This is after 5 rejections from the Disney store at my local mall.
That's funny. I got rejected by McDonald's and Subway or something.
Really? McDonald's takes everybody though. I mean,
that's what I thought.
It worked out. It worked out. So at the time I'm playing piano because I was originally a voice major. And my piano instructor, he was like, "Hey Lou," she's like, "You really suck at the piano, but I like you. Do you want a job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he starts getting me gigs at different hotels for different bar mitzvahs and weddings. That's the only thing I'm doing. And the last gig that I do is a Jewish wedding that the venue's going to be at the Grand Californian Hotel. I didn't have a car at this time, so he's like, "This one's a little bit further. Can you make it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to be like a $70 Uber ride," because it's like 60 miles away, the Grand Californian, from where I'm at. I don't know where it's at. He just gives me an address. I go. It turns out it's a Grand Californian Hotel. I'm like, this is so crazy. I'm like, because that same week I had applied to become like a cast member, and right now I'm just doing a job there. I'm just playing piano at the Grand, but I'm just like an independent contractor. I'm not a cast member at this point. So I play at this wedding. One of the cast members says, "Hey, we're hiring pianists. Would you be like?" He's like, "You should apply. We think you're good." And I'm like, "Cool." So during my interview, they tell me that that's available. I would have to reapply through a different application because it's a different role, and I end up getting the gig. But yeah, what
did you have to do to apply?
Oh my god! So the interview, it was just like any basic interview, like how are you with people, regular cast member. And when I got to meet with the main manager for guest entertainment, that's what it's called. It was like the dumbest things. It was like ABCs. He was like, "Oh, do you know 5-finger legato? Links to your chords. Play this. Can you tune a piano?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "It's okay. You don't have to tune it." I'm like, "Why would you ask me that?" Real simple stuff.
Yeah. So to go, were you excited? What was it like being able to become a cast member after feeling like it was elusive and not something that you could attain?
I did it with have you ever done something knowing that it's not going to happen, but you just did it because it's a fun idea? It was kind of like that. It's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. Just because, it's just for fun. And they ended up giving me the email for the little question, the survey. Mm-hmm. But it worked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, but at that point I realized, I'm like, oh, this is a thing. Because I had gotten rejected from the Disney store 5 times already. I'm like, this is a thing. I could actually do this. So I just straight up I didn't even have a computer at the time. I had to use my neighbor's computer to do the questionnaire because I didn't even have a phone. I'm 18. I just have an iPod. I don't have an actual number. I don't have a car. I don't have a computer to do the survey on, and I don't have Wi-Fi at my home. So I asked my neighbor. I'm like, "Hey, I just got an email. I took my email at school. He's like, I just got an email from Disney. Do you have 45 minutes that I can use your laptop for?" And he's like, "Yeah, go for it, man."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he lets me do that, and then I get an interview.
I don't know if I could
No, yeah,
neighbor.
No. So I ended up getting the interview, and they're like, it's on this day, and using money that I didn't have, I get an Uber to and from Anaheim. It's $45 there and $45 back. I go in a full suit. I braid my hair, which goes below my waist.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so I braid it because I wanted to look professional. Braid my hair, get there 2 hours early, hang out at the Grand Californian. Don't have money to buy anything, so I'm just wandering.
Wow. I would want to hear the pianist with like the long hair though. Like that would like add distinction.
Oh, so I got a lot of gigs.
Like, oh, they for sure like no.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up because I got a lot of good reviews from because whoever hired me, they would relay that information back to my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Alex. They were like, they think you're a really good piano player because of your hair. They think you're like exotic and like well versed. They think you're like some protege just because you look really weird. So that's why I was getting a lot of jobs because they're like, oh, this dude looks crazy.
Yeah.
We gotta hire him. So that's why I was getting like all these gigs. So yeah, for my interview goes well. And then that's the last question they asked me, like, are you okay with cutting? I'm like, yeah.
So like, what's it like working? Like, what do they tell you? Like, go play whatever you want, or like, because I've been in the Grand where I'm like sitting there and then like they'll start taking requests from like guests and stuff.
Yeah, no.
Like, do you have to take requests?
So
or you can. How does it all work?
You are allowed to say no.
Oh.
But you can be courteous and be like, yeah, definitely. They give you like options from what you can play and what you cannot play, and super simple. But the thing is with the piano, just because you're doing these songs, 14 times a day for like months on end, you become an expert at them. So they start freestyling a little bit. They start adding like a little bit of or they'll start getting like really, but they're really not doing anything. They're just adding a couple extra notes or just switching the chords or just changing the octaves.
I think it's something.
No, yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
You're like, I don't know. It seems simple to you, right? But like to everyone else, we're like, wow.
Imagine jumping rope, and you have to do jumping rope. You have to jump rope 40 hours a week for like years on end. At a certain time, you're gonna get so good that you can start jumping with one foot, and then a push-up in between. And then people are like, whoa, he's amazing!
Yeah.
No, you're really not doing anything. They're just hitting a couple extra keys to make it look fancy. But a lot of these pianists, they're not the most experienced people. They've been doing like regular gigs, but they know these songs by heart. So they can start freestyling them, and the piano could play itself too.
Were you able to freestyle? Or
yeah.
How long did you do it? You said 3 months.
3 months, but the songs were super simple that like I could like switch it up and stuff. I got requests and I always took them. But
is that difficult? Because like, it's just because I remember this one time we like sat there and just like kept hounding the pianist, but they were like really good and like kept we're like play La La Land, and they like just immediately started like and it came out like last week. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
so
great.
Like,
well, like a lot of they're not classically trained, meaning that they don't know like the actual music theory. One of the dudes, he's got a really weird name, but he's always there. Silver hair
weird dude.
No, he's not. He's weird, like backstage. Like he's a little loopy. He's a character.
Yeah.
He learned how to play piano by ear. So if you hum a tune like I can show you, he can go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I got it.
And how did you learn?
I learned classical through reading sheet music. I could do it by ear as well. It is better because if you learn by ear, if somebody puts like a sheet music in front of you, you're gonna be like, I have no idea how to play this. But if you sing it.
So where did you learn to play piano originally?
When I was 12 years old, just YouTube videos, and then music theory. Like I research things when I'm bored. So yeah, and I've always liked.
So it was
music.
a hobby, and then it ended up. So do you have a favorite like music-wise Disney? Favorite song, favorite soundtrack, or is that too hard?
No, yeah, I definitely do.
To pick.
But like as I think about it more, I'm just like, you're right. It's
Just throw you on the spot with that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one right there.
It's hard to narrow down for sure.
If we're doing Disneyland, the 60th fireworks are awesome.
Disneyland music, the 60th fireworks.
The 60th fireworks are awesome.
What about the 50th fireworks?
So
okay, let's narrow it down to favorite nighttime spectacular or parade, like entertainment at the parks. What's some of the top ones?
Music.
Yeah, music.
Music. It's gonna be the 60th anniversary, and that one, it's all biased for me. It's completely biased because
that's when you started working.
I started working there, and I started working there the final months of it. So
it was good.
That was my first Disneyland fireworks show.
Disneyland forever.
Disneyland forever. And I remember when I came in with my friends, and my friends are they're real street dudes, so they didn't care.
They're real street dudes.
Yes, like what like. So I didn't go to Disneyland until I was 18, and I got hired at Disneyland when I was 18 because my
You
family
never went?
no, because my family couldn't afford it.
Wow.
So my first legal job was working at a PacSun, and I was also working at a baseball stadium, and I was working as a pianist. So I saved up the money, and my friends, I come from like a pretty like disadvantaged area, so these are all dudes that are like hustling, like they're hustling like illegal jobs. You know, I'm not trying to incriminate anybody. So
Okay.
they're like my best friends of life, but they don't care about Disney the way I do. You know, they care.
How did you end up caring about it?
Oh, it's
You have siblings, right?
I was raised by all girls. They were all tomboys, but but we were all raised by television. So if they got into something, I had to get into that.
And that might be where Disney...
Yeah, definitely. So like,
Nice.
my parents were
Wait,
weren't around.
so you're the only boy, just to
I'm
jump
the
in.
only boy. I'm the only boy.
And you have how many...
I have 3 sisters, 3 older sisters, 30, 27, 25.
And you're how old?
I'm 22.
You're 22.
I'm 22 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
Sorry to jump
No,
in.
no, no. You're good. You're good. You're good. So like we were all basically like my parents weren't around too much when we were kids, so they told us, "Sorry, we can't be around, but we're providing for you, but we'll get you a TV, so you won't be out in the streets." Because my mom hated kids to be out like after hours, because to her that was ghetto. She was like, "I don't want you guys to be like no street rats or anything."
When did your mom move here from France?
She moved here in 1989. Yeah, 1989.
So how old was she? Do you...
My mom was born in 1962. So she's like old country, like yeah. My mom's old.
I just went to France, so like that doesn't mean I have any idea.
No, you're good, you're good. But she's from like a little. Well, the town's big, but
Interested.
she's from like a more countryside part of France. You know, like it's not. It's more slow pace. You know, it's not Paris at all. Paris is like, you know, it's very fast forward. It's very fast moving. It's a little gritty and stuff. So she.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Your
very
mom
old
sounds
country.
fascinating.
She's cool. She's cool.
So she was very...
So she was like, "Don't go. Like that's
Don't go
ghetto.
out at
Yeah,
night.
don't go out at night. We have to be presentable.
Okay.
But I'll buy you a TV and I'll get you cable." So that was like my TV was my religion.
Mhm.
And also she would get us like VHS tapes because at the time, like in the early 2000s, DVD had been released. So VHS tapes were like 50 cents. So we were just like consuming all of this, just cartoons, Disney. Man, I got like a little Jake the dog right here.
Very nice.
So yeah, and this is where we were just like obsessed with these things.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm this way, but I'm in this very impoverished area, and of course, like when poverty-stricken areas, they're gonna have a higher chance of people not finishing high school, not going to colleges. So there's not too many people who are really educated. So a lot of people are really ignorant to things. They're not very open. If you were gay, bisexual, or if you were just kind of like out there, like you would just be like, the community will like not treat you very, very fairly. So, but the thing is that I'm so aggressive, and like
Passionate about...
passionate about things. If people say the sky is blue, I'd be like, no, it's red. I would get beat up, but I would still like, I would stand up for what I believed in, and people like respected that. So like a lot of my best friends, they're like gang affiliated, have gone to jail and all that stuff. So I'm like the sore thumb.
Yeah.
And they told me, we'll drive you to Disneyland, we'll go with you, but you gotta pay for us, because we don't care about it, and it's a really big expense for you to have like this experience that you want to have. So I'm working 3 jobs. I pay for two of my friends. We go to Disneyland.
That's really nice of you.
Yeah, they're my like, they're super close.
Oh, so you... Okay.
They're actually the first 2 people I signed into.
Oh, nice.
One of my friends, he had just gotten out of jail, and the other, I forgot what was he was going through, something crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, like they were both convicts. Like when we went in, and it was crazy. When I signed them in, they had such a fun time with me the time prior, that when I got signed in front of like the people who were giving us the tickets, he was like, "Yo, yo, Luci's like, thanks, man, appreciate it. He's like, hey, are you good, man? You straight? He's like, hey, bro, hey, you want some weed? He's like, what do you do? And I'm like, dude, shut up, because these people are now gonna think that I'm giving you Disneyland tickets in exchange for drugs or like weed or something. Like, they have no fucking filter. And I'm just like, God damn, I can't take you guys anywhere. He just got out of jail too, so like it was this whole ordeal. So yeah, my first visit to Disneyland, loved it. It was great, but they were like, "Can we go home now?" Like at 5, and I'm like, "No, like I want to watch the fireworks." I watched the fireworks. We were on our way out because they were bitching, and I'm like, "Come on, let's just watch it." It was like, "There's no viewing area." Like, if we go up to the train station, there is. You know, try to get as much spots. They're really big guys. Like, my best friend.
Was this when you paid for them to go?
This was when we paid for him. Yeah.
Okay.
His name's Maul. He's really big and like really. He's the nicest guy ever, but he's really intimidating. So like he like kind of cradled like a little area for us, because people they just kind of spread out when he kind of came through, and then he got me like a really good place to watch the fireworks over at the train station, and I watched it. They didn't care. I swear to God. That last line when Peter Pan says, "All of this is yours forever," one tear came out. And we kept it going. Nice. And I was just like, holy shit. That was the best fireworks I've ever seen in my life. So the soundtrack it's not aging very well, but I still love it.
It's not aging very well?
Yeah, like I heard it and I'm like, oh, this is kind of corny. Like this is
Step into the magic.
It just didn't hit. It's like when the last time, I think, yeah. Step into the, like, I remember when I first heard it, I'm like, this is amazing. I really like it too.
I still kind of like it.
But when the last time that they showed it, it just didn't, like, the music just didn't hit. You know, when you get that.
The day.
I think so, yeah. I don't know. But I used to get, like, I'm just like, oh, like, it wasn't as good this time. But I think that's just age. Who knows?
So that's the definitive best.
Definitely that.
For you.
For me. Also.
Based on personal bias.
Super bias. And.
What's some of the other top? I kind of like Pixar Fest.
That one's a good one.
Disneyland, yeah. I feel like it's underrated a little bit.
It is underrated.
It's solid.
I just think that the placement of the songs is weird because it transitions.
The Cars part is.
Yes. How did you know?
Because it's not good.
It's not good at all, and the projections aren't the best.
There's some really good transition, like what is it, to Frozen, that part. Oh, like Finding Nemo, where Nemo goes by.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a transition, and then it goes to Let It Go. I think that's a really good transition, and it almost makes
that's Disneyland Forever. That's not Pixar though.
Is it?
Yeah, because Frozen isn't Pixar. It's Disney Animation Studios.
Okay.
Ah, party foul.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody just like was looking over at you
Pixar.
now. Disneylanders Podcast.
I know,
Wow.
I know.
CEO, founding father.
I know.
You gotta edit a lot of it because some of this is just filler.
That's fine.
But
I know people who can edit.
All right. No, I need you to answer these. Favorite performance song and 2 performance songs that you hate.
For performances
at Disneyland.
At Disneyland.
Fireworks. It could be fireworks. It could be Phantasmic. It could.
Recording, like a song specifically.
Or like the soundtrack. The soundtrack.
Oh, a soundtrack, like a show.
Yeah.
That I
show.
hate.
Yeah. Because the music is like it's mostly the show. Yeah.
I for sure hate.
You
I don't know if it counts because it starts. I for sure hate Disney World's. What's it called? Do you know what it's called?
Is it their fireworks show?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Dreams. I know what you're talking about.
It's fairly new still.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have your phone? Look it up.
Yeah.
Because I have to know.
You're good.
And then I can tell you why I hate it. Because I hate that show.
Why?
I don't know. Happily Ever After is what it's called. Happily Ever After.
Okay.
I hate it. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I'll pick a Disney one, but I hate that one because it's like they'll be playing like the Hunchback of Notre Dame song, which I love, like my favorite movie, and then they'll have like cars, images, or like I can't think of a specific example because I only saw it the one time, but I just remember hating like it had these like things that didn't go together, or it would be like a cover of the A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes, but it's by some. Yeah, but it's not the original Cinderella voice. It's like some cheesy cover.
Oh. Yeah, Disney's great with those cheesy covers, too. Like, sometimes they're terrible.
And then, like, the fireworks, like, they used so many fireworks, but they used them poorly. Like, it would be like, here's the castle, and it'll be like slow, kind of random.
Yeah.
Ours is, like, crisp and, like...
I think it's because it's much smaller.
About?
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's because it's smaller too. Because Walt Disney World, they have to like work with a lot more space, so they're more spaced out too. Disneyland is like so close that even if they're
precision.
Not,
yeah,
they're so close to you, and Disneyland is so encompassed that it's at the end of the day, it's still like a really bright light that you got to see, and it's pretty.
Yeah. Fireworks shows for Disneyland.
Well, okay. So
there's none that I hate.
That was the first one. So like second hate.
I hate the Disney World one, but there's no fireworks show at Disneyland that I hate.
Or just in general, yeah.
So, but I think the top ones would be the 50th, the 60th, and Pixar Fest. But I don't know if I'm remembering it right anymore.
Yeah, there's some things in Pixar Fest that I really didn't like, and I'm not gonna get into it because Pixar Fest was weird, but yeah. It was just awkward. Why the hell you know what I hated? The fucking play parade.
Oh.
Okay,
so fireworks shows are generally good. Parades.
Wait, can we talk about Pixar a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. No, but go on.
Pixar play parade's the worst parade.
And that's when they wet you too.
Yeah.
I hate. Did you ever walk through Main Street and like,
you're trying to get to this.
Yeah.
It's water,
Yeah, like, I remember I didn't know that, and then they did a new announcement saying, water! Like,
oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I remember.
For anybody who hasn't experienced the Pixar Play Parade, what happens during a Bug's Life float is that Flick and his friends randomly the float shoots out water randomly. So, if you're watching the parade, like, random, like, shots of it, and it's kind of painful, too. Like, it's pretty precise. Like, just hits you. At the beginning of this parade, there wasn't an announcement saying that water was going to be shooting out. So you'll be watching the parade, and some people won't see the water because it's transparent, and you'll just get shot with water, and you'll just think, did somebody just spit at me? So that's what it felt like. And then they prior to the parade, because I think that there was complaints, they started doing, oh, by the way,
we're going to be voice.
Yeah, the Disney voice, the Disney God, our Lord God. The announcer guy says, hey, by the way, we're gonna one of the floats shoots out. Well, he didn't say it like that, but he says one of the floats shoots out water so we could have fun and play with you guys.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't announced at first, but when they brought it over,
they should have just shut it off.
It was so annoying, especially if you're a cast member just trying to get to a break room or just trying to go do your function, and you're just like, what? Just now I gotta stay in on my shift for 10 minutes. That was so annoying.
So Pixar.
Okay, Pixar. What I was gonna talk about is, oh my gosh, you had brought something and I just blanked out right now. Oh, I was gonna talk about Pixar's representation in the parks is really awkward because it is. Okay,
are you talking about Pixar Pier specifically? Because I think that's awkward.
I think Pixar Pier is cute. Some things look really nice, but like the characters, some characters are really awkward, like the Incredibles. I think they look weird. They're like bulbous. The molded masks look really strange and like a little scary. Frozen looks crazy. He looks like a weird popsicle. Remy and Emile, have you seen them?
Edna, she's really weird.
Yeah.
Remy, I haven't seen.
Well, let me just tell you, it's a huge rat costume, and Remy already looks like a realistic rat. So you just see like these two hulking rats walking around. So it's a little awkward, So like and I think it's because Pixar, they're famous because of the medium they use, which is 3D animation. It looks really good when you're watching the movies, but when you actually sculpt it out into real life, it's really difficult to get that charm. That's why and you get these frozen faces, and the awesome thing about Pixar is that they're so moldable, that they're so animated, and when you don't see that in real life, it's just like these frozen smiles. That's a little weird. Toy Story looks alright.
What? Do you have any ideas on how you could fix it though?
I've thought about it, for a while, and there's just some things that you can only express in certain ways. Like some people can't communicate with people, so they can only express themselves through art or theater or through singing. Pixar does a great job of presenting awesome characters through their medium, or any other, or specifically that. And you can't do that through through character meet and greets. You can do Mickey all day because he's been done in every form. Pixar is special because they're so niche that you can only do that in that. Have you seen the pins that we sell at the park? The Pixar pins, when they do the 2D, it looks awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Nemo, like there's a Nemo one, there's the Incredibles. It looks weird because they're supposed to be in their like genuine 3D. At least to me.
Yeah.
They're best expressed in their 3D animated way. Like that's why sometimes the plush look weird, the merch doesn't come off right. But what they got right was the tickets though. Those simple designs.
Tickets.
Yeah, the Pixar Fest tickets.
Oh yeah.
Those were cute.
I love that. Yeah.
They looked really, really nice because it was super simplified. But representation of Pixar, it's really awkward.
Pixar Fest. What was it like?
So it was
Pixar Friends. They were in pairs for a reason?
Yeah, it's just because it was supposed to celebrate like friendship and just Pixar. Right. So like, there was a Monsters Inc. one, and it was Mike and Sully, and it was green and blue.
I have a few of those.
Yeah,
tickets.
Because they were nice. They were good pieces of art. Disney tickets are a whole different thing, but that was really cool. No, but I wanted.
Is that something you focus on as like a design person?
Oh yeah, but I think it's just a cast member thing. You notice the small details just because you've been here so long enough. No,
when the map changes, right?
Yeah, but like we could talk about that too. But a big thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I thought about this days ago, is just Pixar in general. I love how Disney doesn't have such a huge hold on them creatively, because Disney's really good at making things one-dimensional. So let's name a random Disney villain and name a random Pixar villain. I want you to do that.
A Disney and a Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar villain.
Like a popular one that everybody knows.
Can't think of his name. The one from Incredibles.
Syndrome. Okay, Syndrome and Disney villain.
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Okay, awesome. Those are awesome examples. So what I wanted to talk about is that Pixar is really good at just humanizing things, and even though it's an animated story about like superheroes and stuff, the story itself is really, really human just because it's about, like, feeling special or like, whatever. Syndrome, you saw why he turned evil. He was good initially. He was, like, this enthusiastic guy that, like, loved and idolized Mr. Incredible. And when your idols kind of fail you, that kind of, it kind of stirs a little bit. And when he has, like, this iconic line saying, when everybody's super, nobody is. And there's an actual huge philosophical argument saying that nobody in life is special. Even if you have like freak talent, nobody's special.
Most people are average.
Most people are average, and anybody could get to like an expert level.
That they're average.
And like so he's got like this whole thing, like he's relatable. You can empathize with. Yeah, definitely. But his character's so wacky. He's like a super villain, like the super smart dude. And at the end of the day, he's just like this boy who was ridiculed by his idol, who failed him. Yeah. And he at the end of the day, he just wants recognition. And he wants everybody to be equal. He wants equality. He wants to sell his weapons so everybody could be a superhero, because these superheroes, they're glamorized, they're like these pop stars, and he's like, no, I want to kill that. I want everybody to be super. If you want to look at it from that lens. And if you look at Captain Hook, he's just evil for the sake of being evil. They don't really give him too much dimension.
That's unfortunate too, because he's like interesting in the book.
Yeah, like this. And I just want to talk strictly about Disney because where they get their source material, it's got so much depth. But I just want to talk about like specifically their films. Yeah. Like, is he looking for treasure? Why does he want to kill Peter Pan? Just get on with your life. Why is he at Neverland? Like, they don't really explain this. Yeah. Or Lotso Bear. Lotso, he's like this crime boss, but he was this guy that he's bitter.
Yeah.
He was abandoned. He has every reason to feel the way he is. And he's protecting these toys, and he has like a really messed up, like kind of fucked up totalitarian way of running things.
Yeah.
But you see why he's the way he is. He's taking care of these toys because he doesn't want them to experience that. He's pushing his beliefs on a somebody, but there's that depth. He's a real person. People in real life are actually like this. Sometimes they're dictators. Sometimes they're just children who aren't being paid enough attention to. And if you want to look at Maleficent, she's just evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah.
She's very one-dimensional.
Super disappointed in Maleficent.
Yeah, like it doesn't really. Or we could keep going. What's another animated?
That's an interesting example, just as a side point, that like Disney specifically, like in Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent was a really cool character.
Yeah.
And then in the live action, they kind of like
She
was just evil to be evil.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the live action, so I can't speak on that. But I know that with most Disney villains, they're just evil because
shallow.
It's incredibly shallow, and that's why I love Pixar, because even Sid. Somebody tried to tell me that Sid was the villain in Toy Story, and it's not. It's Woody, because his jealousy is what leads to the adventure. But Sid,
It's true.
think about yourself when you were 13. We're all trying to figure things out. We're all experimenting with things. Sid was just a dude playing with his toys, customizing them. Everybody does that. And it's not like, yeah, like it's
That's
weird.
true. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, like
Sid's the shit.
He's just a 13-year-old boy. Like that's how he's a little crazy. They kind of animated him a little bit more, but that's just how kids act. I don't think he was doing it because he knew, like, he wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He was just playing by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I love Pixar, and that's why it strikes a nerve when Disney tries to represent them a certain way in the merchandise and in the parks. And I'm just like, no, like there's more to that.
Do you like the shorts then?
I do like
Pixar shorts.
Yeah, I think they're super charming.
I wish they kept the Pixar Film Festival.
Oh yeah.
PhilharMagic's cool though.
Yeah, PhilharMagic was weird because I know that
it would have been better as the shorts for sure.
Well, have you been to Walt Disney World?
Mm-hmm.
That I saw that one then, and then I experienced the one over in California Adventure, and because our theater isn't that theater that they have in Walt Disney World, it's not optimized to kind of be like that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The shorts would have been way better to keep as a
Yeah.
permanent thing. I don't know, I have all sorts of opinions on how they should reorganize the parks and stuff. Like, I was thinking that Pixar Pier and, like, Cars Land could turn into, like, Pixar Land. Because when it's a land based on just a movie, it's not...
Can't do
You're
a whole
stuck.
lot,
Yeah. So, like, if it's Pixar Land, like, that's still limited, but it's, like...
Well, what did you think about Toy
Whenever
Story
they make
Land?
a new... I hate Toy Story Land.
Really? What do you think? Do you like Toy Story?
Yeah.
Okay. But
It's just too cheap looking and, like...
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like, it's... I don't know.
Yeah, and I think when...
It's low quality.
Oh, okay.
To me. But it's... There's aspects, of course, I don't know, that are okay.
4-hour wait for the Slinky roller coaster. It's crazy. The wait time for like the Slinky roller coaster, that's crazy.
I think the only thing I've seen now, I didn't see the one in Disney World, but when I went to Disneyland Paris and they have like a really small version of it. It's very weird.
I've never been there. How was your experience there?
Disneyland Paris?
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris is... So they have like Disneyland Park, and then next door is like their version of California Adventure, actually. It's called Walt Disney Studios Park.
Okay.
It's like smaller than California Adventure, and like has only a few, like, it opened with 3 rides. So it had the Magic Carpet Aladdin ride.
Okay.
And then the shops on their main street was an attraction, and then like the
cool.
studio tour.
Those
So
small.
3
But was
those
it
were
good,
the
though?
3 attractions. No. So their Disneyland Walt Disney Parks is terrible.
The look you gave me was like, it shot through me. You're like, no, it was not.
It was bad. But like the Disneyland Paris is really cool.
Okay.
Their castle's cool. They have a dragon under their castle. Have you heard anything about it?
I've only seen like photos of it.
The
But
castle's incredible.
whose castle is it supposed to be?
Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It looks really tall and like slender.
Yeah.
And it's on a hill, and I think that looks really cool.
It's like, and the trees are cut like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's very stylized.
Yeah.
And it's not like the Sleeping
And
Beauty.
it's France, so it's like they have real castles there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
I think that's why.
yeah.
They're like
There's like stained glass
they know what
in the
they're
castle. Doing. Yeah, it's really.
Oh wow, that's so cute. Yeah, the hill was probably my favorite thing, just because it got the little moat.
There's a waterfall too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it looks really, really cute. I've never been there. I've been to Paris, but I was kind of pissed off that Disneyland Paris isn't really in Paris. It's like 45 minutes away by train.
What did you like about Paris? The food, right? To me, the food was really good.
Well, I was raised with it.
Oh. Okay.
So I really didn't have a choice.
You lived in Paris when you were growing up?
No, my mom's.
She
she cooked it. She cooked it. Like I'm like ego.
I'm like, when did you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like no. I want to. You're weird for liking Parisian food.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Wait, do you mind if we take a break? I gotta use the restroom real quick.
Yeah.
Where's the restroom located?
It's in the house. I don't know if anyone. My brother. Last I checked, it was just Grant that was here. So.
You guys have like these such nice names, Clark, Grant. You guys
Clark, Grant, Jared, Joseph, Cadence.
food capitals of the world?
I guess, yeah. But I don't know. I think I guess I am a foodie.
You want you don't
This is great right here. I got the other flavor last week because they have like different variations of these.
Costco?
I got them at Target.
No.
I'm not bougie like that. I don't go to Target. I don't go to Costco.
Why is Costco bougie?
It's just bougie. It's exclusive.
We could go to Costco sometime. If you want. I love Costco.
I love Costco too.
Kind of like the best.
I think that's
like to
yeah.
sign people in.
Yeah, you know you.
Do you
can.
do that?
I do sign people. I do.
You
I
just
do
said your friends.
Yeah, but like you know what's weird? My friends they don't care about it. They don't care about it. So like it's mostly with cast members.
That's how my dad was. He didn't.
Yeah,
I'm
like.
like, do you want? He's like, if you really want me to, I'll go.
I actually
It's like,
hate,
why?
I actually hate signing my friends in because every time I've signed them in, I've only hit sign them in
They
probably.
want to
14.
leave at like 1.
They want to leave at like 1, and I'm like, you guys are so ungrateful. Or
So
no,
who do you go? Do you go alone to the parks?
I could probably count how many times I've been into the park with a person with my hand.
So you normally go alone.
Yes, and personally I think that's Disneyland done best.
Would you want to go with like? Do you just prefer it now? Like,
I
if someone's like, "Hey, let's go," and they stay all day like you do, would you want to go?
I think it's just a habit now. Okay, so when I got hired into the park was the summer of 2016, a long time ago, and I had moved in with a bunch of friends, and we were all just like hustling to make rent. So nobody.
Where were you living?
I was living in Anaheim.
Okay.
No, actually, I was living in a UC Irvine dorm with my friend legally for like a couple of months before we found an apartment. But they didn't want to go to Disneyland. Yeah, have to, you know.
Where are you living now? Just.
I'm living in Anaheim Hills now.
Let's go.
With one of the. So originally I was living with 5 other guys, and just now one other person. Live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Does this thing, I do my thing.
Sounds nice.
It's cool, yeah. It's been a long ride.
Is that why you were impressed by this?
No. This just looks great. The setup. People, if you can't see this right now, but Clark has an entire wall that's just like dedicated to our Lord God, Bob Iger.
He's gone now.
He's gone now, or whoever's.
What do you like about the background?
I think so he's got like a park map of Disneyland from like what 2001?
2006 or something.
2006.
No Galaxy's Edge.
No Galaxy's Edge yet, and it's like it's a puzzle, and it's framed, and he's got porgs, and he's got vintage stuff, and he's got
Porgs.
books.
Which stands out to you?
Honestly, what stood out to me? It's like the whole thing kind of.
If you, like, what's something you're looking at now? I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at it because we're not facing it.
I think it's the green. He's put like shrubs around to give it like an organic feel, but the green definitely stood out. So it looks like we're outside, but we're really not. What stood out the most to me was probably that vintage Mickey head. He's got a vintage, what is that, a popcorn holder?
It's a lunchbox. You can grab it if you want.
That's
it's
super
a lunchbox.
cute. Yeah, so Gucci, if you guys...
That's one of the oldest things up there.
This is really cool.
It's a lunchbox from...
It's a giant Mickey head.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Open it. It's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah. It's like perfectly in the shape of the
You're like, I don't like it anymore.
No, I do like it just because 90s merch is really weird like that.
Yeah, that and this C-3PO are the oldest things.
That's amazing.
This is from when I proposed to Eric at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
And then this is the first Disneylander button we made.
that's amazing.
And then the rest is pretty new. Alright, well that is it for today's episode. I'd like to thank all you wonderful listeners out there. And I'd like to also thank Lelouch for coming in for the first ever episode of the Disneylanders Podcast. It's finally happened. And a huge thank you to the administrators of the Facebook group and page, which I would encourage all of you to join, because it's a lot of fun. And one last comment, the Disneylanders Podcast relies on the support of people like you, its listeners. To help keep the podcast alive, visit our Patreon page and make a donation. Anything helps, but honestly, no pressure.